What you're about to hear is one of Judge Frank Caprio's most emotional cases, one that moved everyone in the courtroom and redefined the meaning of courage. A 10-year-old girl named Sofia Ramirez stands before the judge representing her family over unpaid traffic fines. But when Judge Caprio learns why this brave young girl is speaking on behalf of her parents, what follows becomes one of the most touching displays of compassion ever seen in his courtroom. Sofia's story may bring tears to your eyes, but Judge Caprio's heartfelt reaction will remind you why kindness and justice can go hand in hand. This moment reveals how true fairness, when guided by empathy, can change lives. When a child as young as Sofia faces the American legal system to protect her family, what unfolds next is unforgettable. Before we dive into this powerful story, make sure to hit the subscribe button, because this lesson in courage and compassion deserves to be shared widely. And tell me, where are you watching from today? Are you catching this on your phone during lunch, on your laptop at home, or maybe listening in the car? Have you ever seen a child show more bravery than adults around them? Drop a comment with your city and how you're tuning in, because Sofia's courage will resonate with people everywhere, from Chicago to Toronto and beyond. This isn't just a courtroom hearing. It's a story about family, sacrifice, and how love can rise above fear. What you're about to see over the next few minutes will show you what real courage looks like when life feels uncertain. It's a quiet Tuesday morning in March at the Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is reviewing his docket when a particular case stands out: the Ramirez family, facing 420 in unpaid traffic fines. A note on the file mentions the defendants speak limited English. The courtroom atmosphere is familiar: nervous defendants waiting for their turn, lawyers sorting through files, and staff ready for another day under Judge Caprio's steady leadership. At exactly 10:45 a.m., the bailiff calls the next case. What happens next surprises everyone. Instead of adults stepping forward, a small figure walks confidently to the front. A 10-year-old girl with long dark hair, dressed neatly in a school uniform, holding a manila folder close to her chest as if it holds something precious. Behind her, her parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez, follow quietly. Maria stays close to the wall, avoiding attention, while Carlos keeps his eyes lowered, both visibly anxious in the unfamiliar setting of an American courtroom. But all eyes are on Sofia. Despite her small frame, she approaches Judge Caprio with remarkable confidence, her chin lifted, her expression calm yet determined, the kind of courage you rarely see at that age. Inside her folder, she carries translated documents, carefully written notes, and something even more significant drives her now: the desperate hope of keeping her family together. The Ramirez family stands before the court because, over the past year, Carlos has received several traffic citations while juggling 2 jobs to support them: expired registration, a broken taillight, and multiple parking violations. Each ticket represents yet another obstacle in their pursuit of the American dream, another financial strain they can hardly bear. Before I show you this remarkable act of courage from a young girl, let me ask, have you ever seen a child step up when adults couldn't? Have you ever witnessed someone so young carry the weight of responsibility for their family? The Ramirez family, the clerk calls, flipping through his files with confusion as a small figure walks to the front. Sofia steps forward confidently while her parents remain a few feet behind, clearly uneasy about the formal court process they don't completely understand. Judge Caprio looks down from the bench, his kind eyes reflecting years of seeing every form of human hardship. Yet this, a determined child standing for her family, is something entirely new. "Good morning," Judge Caprio greets softly, his tone gentle for the young speaker. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "My name is Sofia Elena Ramirez, Your Honor," she says clearly. Her English is fluent, touched only by a faint accent that hints at her family's roots. "I'm here to speak on behalf of my parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez." Judge Caprio puts his paperwork aside, giving her his full attention. "Sofia, how old are you?" "I'm 10 years old, Your Honor." "I'll be 11 next month." The courtroom falls silent. Everyone senses they're witnessing something extraordinary. A child taking responsibility for her family's situation with maturity far beyond her years. "Sofia," the judge continues,
"Can you tell me why you're speaking for your parents today?"
Sofia takes a steady breath, gripping her folder tightly. "Your Honor, my mama and papa work very hard, but English is hard for them. They're afraid they might say something wrong and make things worse for our family. I study English at school and I understand it better, so I came to help them." Judge Caprio's expression softens further as he realizes the depth of this child's love and sense of duty. "I see," he says gently. "And you understand these are traffic violations your father received?" "Yes, Your Honor," she replies. "My papa works at a restaurant from 6 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and then he cleans offices from 5 until midnight." The courtroom watches in awe as this 10-year-old girl calmly explains her family's situation, presenting her documents and speaking with the clarity of someone far older, almost like an attorney, driven not by ambition but by love. Judge Caprio looks over the papers with care and warmth. "Judge Caprio, Sophia, these preparations are remarkable. Did anyone help you organize all this?" "Sophia, no, Your Honor. My teacher, Mrs. Johnson, taught me how to be responsible and prepare for important moments. I stayed after school for 3 days to make sure everything was ready for my family." Judge Caprio glances at Maria and Carlos, who stand silently behind their daughter. Their expressions mix pride with worry, unable to speak, yet completely trusting the child before them. Narrator. If you're already touched watching this brave young girl stand up for her family, take a moment to like this video, because what Sophia shares next will reveal the depth of her family's love and sacrifice. Judge Caprio steps down from his bench, not as an authority figure this time, but with the gentle respect of someone who recognizes true courage. Judge Caprio. "Sophia, what you're doing for your family takes real bravery. Can you help me understand why your parents are afraid to speak in court?" Sophia looks back at her parents, her eyes filled with love and a maturity far beyond her years. "Sophia, Your Honor, my mama and papa came to America to give me and my little brother Miguel a better life. But they're afraid of people in authority. They worry that if they say something wrong, we might have to leave." Judge Caprio kneels so he's at her eye level, his tone softening. Judge Caprio. "Sophia, are your parents here legally in the United States?" The courtroom falls silent. Sophia's reply carries the weight of responsibility no child should bear. "Sophia, Your Honor, my mama and papa are working very hard to fix their papers. They have a lawyer, Mr. Peterson, who's helping them, but it takes a long time. They're scared that even small problems might hurt their case." Sophia opens her folder again, carefully pulling out a business card and several official-looking documents. "Sophia, here's Mr. Peterson's card, and these are the papers showing my parents are applying for—" She hesitates, struggling with the term, "for asylum status. They had to leave our country because it wasn't safe for us." Judge Caprio takes the documents with care, understanding the trust behind the gesture. This young girl has just handed him her family's most guarded secret, their fragile immigration status. Judge Caprio. "Sophia, you said it was dangerous in your country. Can you tell me what that means?" Sophia's voice grows softer but steady. "Sophia, Your Honor, in our country my papa saw bad men do bad things and told the police. But the bad men found out, and they said they'd hurt me and Miguel if my papa didn't stop." She reaches for one last paper, her report card, marked with straight A's and perfect attendance. "Sophia, Your Honor, while we wait I go to school every day and study hard. My mama cleans houses and my papa works 2 jobs. We pay taxes and follow every rule. But sometimes the traffic rules are confusing when you're so tired from working all the time." Judge Caprio studies the report card, seeing in it not just grades but a reflection of resilience, sacrifice, and love. Sophia's grades weren't just proof of academic excellence, but a reflection of a family striving to build an honest life in America. "Your grades are excellent, Sophia," Judge Caprio said. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" For the first time during the hearing, Sophia's face brightened. "I want to be a lawyer, Your Honor, like Mr. Peterson," she replied. "I want to help other families who come to America for safety. I want to make sure no other little girl has to speak for her parents in court, because they're too afraid." Her words moved everyone in the courtroom. It wasn't just courage they witnessed, but the emergence of a future defender of justice. And honestly, if that doesn't touch your heart, you might need to check if you still have one. Sophia's dream of becoming a lawyer to support immigrant families shows how strength can rise from hardship. Make sure you're subscribed, because what Judge Caprio says next will renew your faith in the American dream. Judge Caprio paused, visibly affected by Sophia's words and the burden placed on her young shoulders. When he spoke again, his tone carried the calm wisdom of 3 decades on the bench and the compassion of someone who recognizes true character. Sophia, I want you to turn around and look at your parents. She turned to see Maria and Carlos watching her with anxious love, their entire future resting on their daughter's courage. Now, the judge continued, tell them in Spanish that they don't need to be afraid in my courtroom. Tell them that Judge Caprio says they are welcome here. Sophia's eyes widened in surprise and relief. She quickly turned to her parents and spoke softly in Spanish. As her words reached them, Maria began to cry quietly while Carlos placed a gentle hand on Sophia's shoulder. Judge Caprio then addressed the family directly, speaking slowly and clearly. Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez, please come forward. Still holding Sophia's hand. They stepped up to the bench. Sophia, he said, tell your parents I understand why they came to America. Tell them that protecting your children from harm is what every good parent would do. As she translated his words, both Maria and Carlos nodded, tears streaming freely down their faces. As they hear words of acceptance instead of rejection from this American authority figure, Judge Caprio continues, tell them that working 2 jobs, paying taxes, and raising a daughter who earns straight A's and dreams of becoming a lawyer, that's exactly the kind of family America needs. Judge Caprio returns to his bench, but his expression has changed completely, from judge to protector. Sophia, he says, I'm not just dismissing these traffic violations. I'm going to do something I've never done before. Right there in open court, he picks up his phone. Mr. Peterson, this is Judge Frank Caprio. I have the Ramirez family in my courtroom, and I'd like to personally recommend their asylum case. This family represents everything good about immigration to America. Then, turning to Sophia, he adds, I want you to come back to my courtroom in a year, not because of any legal issue, but to show me your report card and tell me how your family is doing. Will you promise me that? Sophia nods eagerly, her fear replaced with pure hope. Yes, Your Honor. We'll come back to show you we are good Americans. You already are good Americans, Sophia, Judge Caprio replies softly. You already are. The courtroom bursts into applause as the Ramirez family embraces, their nightmare transformed into a vision of acceptance and opportunity. What happens next becomes one of the most touching displays of community support and American kindness. As the family steps out of the courtroom, several people who witnessed Sophia's bravery approach them. Mrs. Chen, an elderly woman waiting for her own hearing, stops the family. Through Sophia's translation, she offers Maria more house-cleaning work. Your daughter's courage shows what kind of family you are, she says. I want to help. Dr. Williams, a local pediatrician in court for a minor traffic issue, walks over to Carlos and offers him a part-time job at his clinic. Anyone who raises a daughter like Sophia, he says, deserves every opportunity to succeed. But the most heartfelt moment comes later that evening when Mrs. Johnson, Sophia's teacher, visits their home. She had heard about the court appearance from other students. Sophia, she begins, I've spoken with the principal and the school counselor. We want to make sure you get all the support you need to prepare for college. Your dream of becoming a lawyer isn't just possible. It's inevitable. She hands Sophia a stack of books on law, civics, and American history, a symbol of encouragement for a future that now feels within reach. These moments would later help Sophia guide other families in similar situations. Within just a week, her story spreads throughout Providence. Local news outlets interview the Ramirez family, with Sophia confidently translating for her parents and sharing their journey with the same calm and assurance she displayed in court. My parents are my heroes, Sophia tells the reporter. They saved me and Miguel by bringing us to America. Now I want to help other families feel safe too. The interview airs on the evening news, and the community's reaction is extraordinary. The Ramirez family receives countless messages of support, offers of assistance, and invitations of friendship from local residents. Soon after, Mr. Peterson, their immigration attorney, calls with life-changing news. Sophia's appearance in Judge Caprio's courtroom, along with his personal endorsement, has brought new hope to their case. A year later, exactly as promised, Sophia returns to Judge Caprio's courtroom. But this time she isn't holding legal paperwork. Instead, she carries report cards, certificates, and photographs, symbols of her family's successful start in America. Now 11 years old and noticeably more self-assured, Sophia approaches the bench with her parents, who no longer stand back nervously but proudly beside their daughter. "Good morning, Your Honor," she greets him with a bright smile. "I kept my promise to return and show you how we're doing." Judge Caprio's face lights up at the sight of the family's transformation. "Sophia, look at you. You seem to have grown a whole foot taller. How has your year been?" he asks. "It's been the best year of our lives," Sophia replies. "My parents received asylum 3 months ago, and now we're officially safe in America." She hands him her report card and straight A's once again, along with new honors. "I was elected to student government," she adds, "and I started a club called New Americans, where immigrant students help one another and teach classmates about our cultures." Carlos, now confident enough to speak directly in careful English, steps forward. "Your Honor, thank you. When Sophia came here a year ago, we were afraid. Now we feel American," Maria adds, also in English. "Sophia teaches us English every night after homework. She says we must learn so we can help other families who are afraid like we were." Sophia then takes out another paper. "Your Honor, I received the scholarship you recommended. I'm enrolled in a summer program at Brown University for gifted students interested in law and public service." Judge Caprio examines the certificate proudly. "Sophia, this program is for high school students. You're only 11. The director said my essay about helping immigrant families was so strong they made an exception," Sophia explains. "I wrote about meeting you, and how judges can help people." The judge looks at the photograph, then back at the family, now filled with dignity and confidence instead of fear. "Sophia, do you remember what you said you wanted to be when you grew up?" "Yes, Your Honor, a lawyer, to help families like mine." "Well," Judge Caprio says with a smile, "I have something to share with you. The Providence Bar Association has created a new scholarship for students from immigrant families who want to study law. They've named it the Sophia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship." Sophia's eyes widen in disbelief. "They named it after me?" "Yes," Judge Caprio replies, "because you've shown everyone that true courage isn't about not being afraid. It's not about avoiding fear. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when fear is present." Judge Caprio stands before a courtroom filled with people eager to see Sophia return. "Ladies and gentlemen," he begins, "a year ago, a 10-year-old girl reminded us what it truly means to be American. It's not just about birthplace, it's about living the values that define this nation: courage, family, loyalty, hard work, and the pursuit of a better future." Turning to Sophia, he continues, "You've honored every promise you made in this courtroom. Now it's America's turn to honor its promise to your family, that through dedication, bravery, and hope, dreams can indeed come true here." Sophia Ramirez's story quickly reached far beyond Providence. It became a symbol of what happens when courage meets compassion, when fear gives way to hope, and when communities open their arms to families seeking safety and opportunity. 2 years after her first court appearance, Sophia was invited to speak at the National Immigration Law Conference. Standing before judges, lawyers, and advocates, she displayed the same calm strength she once showed in Judge Caprio's courtroom. "When I was 10, Sophia said, I learned that being brave doesn't mean you aren't scared. It means protecting the people you love, even when you are." Her words earned a standing ovation. 3 law schools offered her guaranteed admission upon finishing high school. Judge Caprio, who was in the audience, later reflected, Sophia didn't just stand up for her family that day. She stood up for the belief that America's strength lies in families like hers, who risk everything for their children's future. Today, the Sophia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship has supported 12 immigrant children in pursuing legal studies. Each recipient pledges to offer pro bono legal aid to families in need. Maria and Carlos Ramirez now run a small restaurant, employing other immigrant families and helping them navigate life in America. Sophia still works there on weekends, translating and assisting those whose stories mirror her own. Now 13 and in high school, Sophia spends her summers interning at Mr. Peterson's law office, helping families prepare for immigration hearings with the same focus and care she once showed in her own family's case. "Every family I assist," Sophia says, I remember being that frightened 10-year-old. I want them to know that this country still has space for families who work hard and dream big. And friends, Sophia's story reminds us that true courage often comes in the smallest forms. That the families seeking safety and opportunity today are the very ones who continue to build America, and that sometimes a child's bravery can teach us all what compassion truly means. Children have a way of surprising us with their strength and wisdom, and Sophia's journey is a powerful reminder of that truth.